Hey, what's up YouTubers, and welcome back to another Todd E. Walnuts update video. I know it's been a little while since I have done an update video, and that's because I haven't really purchased much over the past month plus. But I do have a nice little stack of stuff here I want to show you guys, and I got kind of a nice little mixture of things. I got some VHS tapes, I got a vinyl, I got some pop figures. I'll tell you the story about those when I get to those. I'll probably do those last. I got some DVDs and some Blu-rays and some box sets. So we're going to start with the first thing. This is probably, I think this is the only horror. Yeah, this is the only horror item that I have in this update video. And this is the Waxwork Records edition of Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. And this is a 2 LP, 180 gram colored vinyl. Comes with a 12 by 12 printed insert, and I will open it up and show you guys. But first we'll kind of take a look here at the cover. And then on the back, there are the track listings. And I'm going to pause it here for one moment so we can take a look at the inside. With the plastic off, we will open up the gatefold. And by the way, I forgot to mention that joining me today are Miss Hannah and Miss Heidi, as always. And Hannah's trying to get a little comfortable right now, so she's kind of rocking the bed. But there we go. She's ready. She's all hunkered down. So there's a nice gatefold image of Jason with one of his weapons. And then on the inside, let me pause it one more time. So both of the vinyl are pretty much the same. So I'm just going to pull out the one, and it looks like it's kind of a putrid brown and orange and green, kind of like a decaying Jason. So that's pretty cool. And then here's the 12 by 12 art print. It comes on some pretty thick stock paper. It's not quite big enough to frame. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but I'm going to keep that tucked away inside the album here. So that is the first item, and we will move on. And before we move on with the update video, I just wanted to give a shout out before I forget. And I did kind of forget. I wanted to start off the video with this. But there's a fellow YouTuber, a friend of mine, who used to go by the name Harmon Vlogs, who now changed his channel name to Infamous Crime Locations. And he's a true crime channel, and he goes to a lot of crime scenes and gives backstories of some of the horrific events that happened on location. So it's pretty cool. That is Infamous Crime Locations. I'm going to link him down below, and you go please tell him that Todd E. Walnuts sent you, and I'm sure he'll be happy to hear from you. Go check him out. The next little stack here that I'm going to get into are movies that the Disney Movie Club sent to me, because I always forget to check the box to decline the movie of the month or the movies of the month sometimes. And they sent me some movies I probably wouldn't buy, to be honest with you, if they didn't send them for free. So this first one I probably would have, and this is the 4K Ultra HD edition of Disney's The Lion King. It comes with the slipcover. And this is from the Signature Collection. They're calling this the Ultimate Collector's Edition. They also recently, I think a few months back, did the live action on 4K Ultimate Collector's Edition. So it's good to have this one. I have this movie several times, but it comes with this beautiful slipcover. It's kind of glossy. Haven't popped this one in yet to check it out, but it's always good to have Disney titles. And here are a couple that I probably wouldn't pick up. And you guys can tell me if these are worth watching. The first one is called Ferdinand. And this is the Blu-ray, DVD, digital. Comes with a slipcover. And I don't know anything about this one. I don't know who voice acts in the movie. I don't know really what it's about. But they sent it to me, and here's another one. This one's called Spies in Disguise, also a Blu-ray DVD digital code. This one stars Will Smith. Haven't really heard much about this one. I've been kind of living under a rock the last couple months, so Here's one called The Book of Life. This is a Blu-ray DVD digital. This one came without a slip. I'm not sure if Disney issued this one with a slip, even though this is not directly a Disney title. This is a 20th Century Fox title. It was still sent out by Disney, and I picked up this slipcover on eBay for a couple bucks. And apparently this one's kind of rare. I'm not sure. At least that's what the seller said, but I didn't pay very much for either the Blu-ray or the slip. And then the last one also came without a slip, and I did order one on eBay, and it's still coming. It didn't arrive yet, but this one's called Coco. This one is a Disney Pixar picture, and it is a Blu-ray DVD digital code. And again, I have no clue what it's about. But that was my little Disney pile. So if you guys have any comments about these, you can leave those down below. Let me know what I'm getting into with those. Chances are it'll be a long time before I view any of these, but it's good to have them on hand. So moving on. So the next stack here, and a box set that I'm going to show right after this pile, are shows that helped me get through the quarantine. And I've been watching a lot of this stuff on YouTube, and I've been kind of researching Jack Benny and some of his guests and some of his shows. He started out in early radio, and his show went for a long time. So I picked up a bunch of DVDs on eBay for dirt cheap. Actually, I purchased 2 different lots, so I ended up getting 2 doubles, and I'll get to those in a second. I'm going to give those away to somebody who wants those, who would really appreciate and watch them. But these are the titles that I picked up, and this is the Holidays with Jack Benny, and it has the Christmas show and the New Year's Eve show. And the Christmas show was from December 18th of 1960. It was black and white. And the New Year's Eve show was from December 30th, 1956. And at that time, the shows ran for 25 minutes, and then you throw in commercials, and it was a half-hour program. And these were put out by a company called Brentwood. So they're kind of bare bones, I guess, but they're fun to have, and I really enjoyed watching these during the quarantine. The next one is the Jack Benny show. Actually, you know what? I have these backwards, so I'm going to rearrange them really quick, and we're going to go through them in order. This is the Jack Benny Show Volume 1, also co-starring his longtime sidekick, Rochester Anderson. This one has Mel Blanc, who was also a frequent guest on the show. He was a cartoon guru for a lot of his voices that he portrayed over many decades, including Bugs Bunny and many, many others. And this one had Eddie Cantor in it. And this one has, I believe, 3 episodes, actually 4 episodes on here. So that's pretty cool. And then Volume 2 has Humphrey Bogart, Liberace, and again, Rochester. And these guys were great together. And again, it has 4 episodes. Total running time of 103 minutes. Black and white. Jack Benny was a comedic genius, and he always portrayed a miser. He always portrayed like he was afraid to, like a penny pincher. He was afraid to spend money, but people who knew him in real life said that was just kind of an act, and he carried that act on for decades. And he was a very accomplished violinist, and he had a very expensive violin, but on his show he portrayed himself as a very poor playing violinist, but when in reality he was very, very good, and he had been playing violin since he was a small child. And another joke about Jack Benny was he always told people he was 39 every year for decades. I think he was 90 when he died. I could be wrong about that, but he always told people that was his running joke, that he was 39. So here's Volume 3 with Johnny Ray. I believe Johnny Ray was an Australian singer, actor. And it also has Kirk Douglas, Fred McMurray, Dick Powell, Dan Daly, Vincent Price, and Irene Dunn. And if you guys are interested in any of these, I would recommend going on eBay. You can get them dirt cheap, or you can go to oldies.com. Here's volume 4 with Bob Crosby, who is the brother of Bing. And I gotta say, I really enjoy Bob Crosby's voice and Bing. They both had very, very good baritone voices back in the day when male crooners were very popular, and that was a little bit before Sinatra, or maybe right around the beginning of Sinatra's career. Dean Martin, the Crosbys were very, very popular, very good singers. And I'll leave a link down below, and I want you guys to go check out Dear Hearts and Gentle People by Bob Crosby. It'll put you in a good mood. It's a very, very good song. But again, this is 4 episodes. And the last one for this little volume set here is volume 5. And Jack Benny and George Burns were best friends in real life. And I guess they acted and they did comedy skits quite a bit together over the years. So this one has George Burns, Bing Crosby. And the reason I had 2 different lots, because one of them had a couple of volumes, and then the other one had a couple more volumes, but one of them had this one also, and it was 39 episodes of the Best of Jack Benny, and this was the one I was really looking forward to because it also comes with an exclusive documentary. And this one has a lot of the big boys in it. You know, this is the best of, so it has, you know, the best actors of the time. You got Bob Hope, George Burns, Bing Crosby, Dean Martin, Jimmy Stewart, and many, many more. And I'm really looking forward to busting into this one. This is like a lazy Sunday afternoon. Just pop this in and watch it for a couple hours. The only thing I don't really like about this set is the way they stack them. You know, they have them in these little paper envelopes and then just kind of stack them on top of each other. Not a big fan of that, but I'm still very glad to have this box set and have all of these editions here of the Jack Benny Show. And like I said, it really helped me get through the pandemic. Nothing like some good laughter, some good, clean, wholesome laughter to kind of pick up your spirits. And I do have a couple of doubles, which I told you guys I would get into here. I have a double of Volume 1, and I have a double of Volume 3. So if anybody would really want these in their collection and would actually watch them, I will ship them to you for free, as long as you enjoy them. But if you don't want them, don't just take them because they're free. Let somebody else have them that will appreciate them. But that is my little Jack Benny pile right there. If you're interested in Volume 1 and Volume 3, leave me a comment down below. All right, so moving right along here. And those are not spirit orbs in my house. Those are dust, because a lot of the stuff that I have laying around my house does seem to collect dust. As much as I try to keep things clean, that's just how it goes. But this set right here is a beautiful set. I just got this in today, so I didn't even go through it yet. I'm going to go through it here with you guys for the first time. And this is 4 decades of The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. And this is another show. Somebody uploaded a whole bunch of episodes on YouTube. And some of them are kind of poor quality, but I think it kind of added a charm to it to me, because a lot of these Tonight Shows were from the 60s and 70s. He actually went all the way up to 1992, I believe, is when his last show was. He was on the air for 30 years, so I think it was 1962 till 1992. And there's quite a few shows on YouTube, and over the years his format changed a little bit. So I think he went from an hour and a half in the beginning of his career, and they cut it to an hour at some point years later, and then at the very end I think he was only going for 45 minutes. I believe that's how it went. But there are some pretty good shows that are uploaded here on YouTube, and they even included commercials in some of them for the time period. I mean, it was an actual, like, somebody recorded it off a TV or something. So you can see commercials from the 70s or from the 80s. It's pretty cool. I really like that. But again, it wasn't the best quality for a lot of them, but it comes in this big box set, and this is out of print, and it's, I've seen it going for anywhere. I paid 50 for this, 50 bucks, which is on the low end. It's used, and I don't think any of them were new and sealed. But the price was going upwards around 100 bucks, 120, I think, for this. But you can get it very cheap, or much cheaper than that, if you just keep your eyes out. But this is a 15 disc set, and you can see that they're housed in kind of these paper boxes, and it goes by decade. So there is, let me see here. It doesn't really, well, actually it does. It says from 1965 until 1975, and these are just, I think these are kind of snippets and not full episodes. I haven't popped this in to check it out yet. But December 31st, 1965, his guests were Woody Allen and the Muppets. And then I'm not going to read every name if you guys want to pause it. But you can see there that Bob Uecker was on there, Robert Blake, Don Rickles was a guest frequently. Burt Reynolds was on there quite a bit. And Rodney Dangerfield was on there quite a bit. So that was the earliest. This is discs 1 through 3. Didn't want to make this too long, but I wanted to pull these out and take a look at them. Here's the next little set, and this is discs 4 through 7. And you could just kind of take a little look there if you want. Glenn Campbell, 1975. Carol Burnett. Jimmy Buffett, 1981. Slim Whitman, 81. Steve Martin was always good on the show. Alice Cooper and Jay Leno, 1977. So these are fun little timeless comedy. There's little skits in there. He plays Karnak the Magnificent, and he did a lot of his own little skits and stuff like that. This one is 1981 through 1985. You can see Bill Cosby was on there, Terry Garr, Suzanne Plachette, Pavarotti was on there, John Denver. And these are all little time capsules. You know, you go back in time when you watch these. And here's the last one. This is discs 12 through 15. There are several different box sets you can get. I think they pretty much all have the same materials on them. I'm not exactly sure though, because I haven't really researched it all. But there are some, I think this was one of the earlier sets that they released, and then there was a couple that they re-released since. But this was December of 85 through April of 1990. And from what I understand, too, I did a lot of research on Johnny Carson during the pandemic. I watched some of it, a documentary on his life, and I watched some interviews that he had. He had some rare interviews because he didn't want to, he considered himself shy. That's what he said, but he was not really a people person. You know, he treated people pretty poorly in real life, which was much different than the persona he had on a television show. And he was a self-proclaimed, or a self-admitted alcoholic, too. And he ended up dying a very lonely death. He withdrew himself from the public eye after being, you know, the center of attention for 30 years. He ended up dying pretty much alone, and he didn't keep in touch with people. And it was pretty sad to see how his life ended up. But let's move on to the next little pile here that I have. The next set here I picked up like a month or two ago, whenever the 50% off sale was for Barnes & Noble for the Criterion sale. And this was the only title I picked up at that time, and this is the Bruce Lee, His Greatest Hits box set. This might have been more than a couple months ago. I can't remember, actually. That's how long it's been since I made an update video. And I'm sure this was probably, you know, people showed this in their update videos probably several times by now. So I don't know if you guys really want me to go through it. I'll go through it really quick. But these are movies that were made from 1971 through 1978. 506 running minutes total. And in this set you get the Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, Game of Death. And this is still sealed, but I'm going to pause it really quick and we're going to bust into it. Okay, so the plastic is off. Take a look there at that beautiful artwork. I like the colors, the black and the yellow and the white. Looks really good together. Nice color scheme. The outer shell is a little bit weak, but it's still pretty decent. I've seen worse, but I've seen better. And this is a pretty decent set. And I'm not going to go through all the special features, but if you would like to pause that and read them to yourselves, you can do that. This comes with a digipack that was housed inside the slip box, and it is a 7-disc set. So the first disc there, we have the Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, and disc 5 is Game of Death. So those are the 5 films, and then you have 2 discs of supplements, which are Blu-ray, so that's really nice. Flip this over and take a look at the entire art, which looks really, really good. And this set also came with a booklet, but it's almost the size of a magazine. I'm sure most of you guys have this set already, but I unfolded it to save a little time. It's a full color poster inside. Bruce Lee, His Greatest Hits. The paper has that same kind of a texture of like a magazine. So don't want to spend too much time going through this, but here are some of the retro posters that look really, really good. Very cool. It has kind of a retro feel to it, almost like how it's about the size of a comic book, and sometimes the comic books would have little ads you can mail out for stuff. It kind of has that vibe to it. So that is the Bruce Lee, His Greatest Hits box set from Criterion. I'm going to pause it right now, put it back together. I'm going to show you some of the other Bruce Lee stuff that I had already in my collection. So this little stack here are Blu-rays that I owned already for several years. And I guess that Criterion sets an upgrade, because it says on the back that it does have 4K digital restorations of the Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, and Game of Death. And it has a 2K digital restoration of Enter the Dragon. So, I mean, it's hard for me to tell a difference between 2K and 4K, to be honest with you. I mean, I have a hard time doing it. I have a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player. It all looks the same to me. But these were imports from the UK, and this is the first movie, The Big Boss. And it does have a reversible cover, but on the inside it also has those unsightly ratings logos, which I think are terrible. But that's what the inside cover looks like. But I thought the picture quality and the audio was really good on this. I watched it. It was pretty good. I was very happy with it. I mean, I don't know if these movies really need to be squeaky clean, but I'm glad that they are. Here's the second one, called Fist of Fury. These come with 24-page booklets also. I think these are out of print now. I'm not sure. They come from a company in the UK called Medium Rare, I think. Let me double check that here. I'm not really sure. But these are Blu-ray DVD combos, and just be aware that these are Region B and Region 2. Here's the third movie that Bruce Lee made, called The Way of the Dragon. Here is Enter the Dragon. Here's a steelbook of Enter the Dragon, put up by Warner Brothers. And then here is the last movie called The Game of Death. So that was my little Bruce Lee lot. So let me pause it here and we'll continue moving right along. 2 months ago, the maestro Ennio Morricone passed away on July 6th. And I believe it was the day of his death or the day after his death. I went on eBay looking for books about him because I do have some of his music, which I'm going to show you guys here momentarily. I was looking for a hardcover book and just to do a little reading up on him, and also I was hoping that they had some books with CDs in it, and that's exactly what I found. It's a hardcover book, and you can see a lot of the themes that he had over the years. He had decades of excellent music for classic movies, and this one comes with, I believe there's 4 CDs, and then there's some write-ups. It's a very big, thick, heavy book. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I was very, very glad to pick this up, and it was very affordable. I believe it was only around 20 to 30 bucks for this, which is, I think it's a steal. But there's some stills from some of the movies that he composed the soundtracks for, some of the poster art here. Just a nice little memento to kind of remember the great one, Ennio Morricone. If you watched a lot of Italian cinema, spaghetti westerns or slashers, giallo, chances are you've heard Ennio Morricone many, many times. And again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I just want to say that the quality of this book is very good. The pages are very thick, and the colors are very rich, very vibrant. And I'm kind of flipping through pretty heavily here. And it talks a little bit about the soundtracks. It talks about the years of each song and which movie it was on. Very, very cool. I was so happy to get this. And just to show you guys a couple of other CD books that I have from Ennio Morricone. The first one was called Morricone Bossa, and these are some of the bossa nova tones tunes that he composed for movie soundtracks. I have these in plastic, so I'm not going to pull these out. But there you can see some of the tracks. And I imported these from Italy several years ago. This is the Morricone Western exclusive collection of rare spaghetti westerns. You can see some of the tracks there. Here's the Morricone Awards, and he won many, many awards over his long, illustrious career. And then the last one, I believe he has one track on here, and these are kind of violent Italian cinema, they're calling it. And he had a track on there. Don't see it right offhand, but oh, right there, track 8 from the movie Revolver. So that was that, and we'll get into the final segment here on this video. So as you guys can see, and if you know me, and if you follow my channel for any amount of time, if you've watched for a couple of years now or so, you know that I don't collect the pop figures at all. And there's a couple reasons. One, I don't have a lot of space, and these do take up quite a bit of space if you buy a bunch of them, and they're addicting. And once you start buying a few of them, you want to get the rare ones and the exclusive ones, and I just don't want to get into all that. Two, I'm just not the biggest fan of how they look. They look too childish to me. They look like kids' toys, you know what I'm saying? So the reason I have these is because my oldest daughter just recently moved, and she's going to be, she moved to a different city. She's going to be about an hour and a half away. So she moved a lot of her stuff. She took all of her stuff that was here, and these were the things that she left behind that she didn't want. Now, I don't necessarily want these, but I don't feel like I should get rid of them because they're hers. So I told her that I would hold on to them, and she said honestly she's not interested in these anymore. So she left me a little stack of VHS tapes. She left me some pops. I'm going to get into all these. She left me a couple of anime DVDs, which I don't know anything about, but I do love anime, so I'm looking forward to checking those out. And she left me some South Park figures, and she got a lot of these. She works at a Barnes & Noble, so she was able to pick these up. I think she got a store discount. But let's get into the VHS first. And these used to be mine originally, years and years ago, when my kids were really little. And when I went through and sold my entire VHS collection, which I regret, because I had just about every Disney tape, the clamshell. I had just about every one of them. And I sold them for dirt cheap, and now I'm trying to slowly get them back. And I do have quite a few of them, which I haven't did a video for those on this channel yet, but eventually I will. I'll show you guys my Disney VHS. But these were the ones that my oldest daughter pulled out. I said, if you want to go through and pull any of them out that you want before I sell them, go and do so. And these are the ones that she pulled out. So just really quickly, going to just kind of blaze through these. This is the original The Hobbit for 1977. This is the animation Ralph Bakshi, Lord of the Rings. Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal, which I have all of these on DVD or Blu-ray by now. So this one is called Lion of Oz. It says it's a 75-minute animated musical, and my kids used to watch this quite a bit. There's some pretty big names here for the voice acting. I got Disney's Dinosaur, which we saw in theaters when my kids were really little. I think just my first was born when this one came out. The Land Before Time. The Land Before Time 2, The Great Valley Adventure. I remember they used to watch this quite a bit too, especially my daughters. This is called The Amazing Panda Adventure. This is the Never-Ending Story, the animated tale called Bastian Balthazar Bucks, the animated adventures of Bastian Balthazar Bucks. And the last VHS is called The Secret of Nim. This is a Don Bluth movie. I'm going to pause it really quick and get a drink, and I'll be right back with you. These next two are Japanese anime, and I really don't know anything about these. I have heard of them before, but I've never watched them. And this is called Naruto, I believe it's pronounced. It says it's Uncut Season 1, Box Set Volume 1. And it says it's a 6-disc set over 10 hours of Naruto action. I'm not sure if this ever came with the slip box or anything like that. But there you can see the discs are housed on the swing trays, which I really like. I like the way that that looks. And the second one is called Bleach, Shonen Jump Bleach, Fade to Black, the movie. Again, I don't know anything about it, but it looks really cool from the cover. I like it looks like it's kind of dark, like a dark adventure type. See a castle in the distance and some kind of like a maze or something with weapons, and So if anybody knows anything about these two and you want to chime in down below, feel free to do so. And we'll get into the pops here. This is the first one here is one that I really like, and she said that she was going to give this to me at some point, but she never got around to doing it. And this is Alfred Hitchcock, the black and white figure. And this is really nice. I will keep this one displayed. I only have a couple. I have Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, Freddy, and now Alfred Hitchcock. And I also have a Jack Skellington, Day of the Dead, where his face is kind of painted up for Dia de los Muertos. But those are the only ones I have so far. Now this one will stay in my collection. Really like the way that that looks. And that's a normal size pop. And I say that because the next 5 are in really big packaging. And I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I'll be interested in trading if anybody wants to trade for these. But if you want to see the size difference between the 2 boxes, it's quite significant. And I just can't imagine buying a bunch of these. Even these little ones take up a lot of space, and I just couldn't imagine. You can fill up your room with probably, just 100 of these, and you got nowhere to put anything else. I know there's guys out there that have several hundred of these pops, and they just put them on the walls and they stack them on top of each other. And I'm just not interested in any of these really. I'll keep these little, Leatherface and Jason. I'll keep those, but other than that, I'm not gonna. Anyway, here's the imp, Tyrion Lannister. And it has his little throne in the back. I guess that's why the packaging is so big. These guys are sitting on their thrones. I really don't know much about the show because I watched season 1 and was not interested in the show. I felt like, I liked season 1, but when they cut Ned Stark's head off, it was like they were giving the middle finger to the crowd, to the audience. And from what I hear, they just kept killing people off every episode, and I just didn't want to get into that. And I heard the ending was pretty disappointing too, but here's the next one called Night King, and I'll try to get in there without that reflection, but he's on his little throne. Try to go a little bit quicker here. Wrap this up. Next one is Daenerys, I guess that's how you pronounce it. That's the dragon girl. She was pretty hot. I do remember that. And she's on her little throne. This one is Cersei Lannister. She was pretty hot too, I thought, at least in the beginning, couple episodes, or first season anyway. Looks like she butchered her hair and just, maybe age didn't really agree with her. But that's her. And the last one is Jon Snow. He's on his little throne. And I'll do a quick recap, and I have one more little box set of toys to show, and then we're going to wrap this up. So there's an overall view of it. You got Jon Snow, Cersei Lannister, Night King, Daenerys. If I'm pronouncing any of these wrong, just who cares? It's no big deal. And Tyrion Lannister and Alfred Hitchcock. If anybody's interested in trading for any of these or buying them, comment below. I'm keeping Alfred Hitchcock though. And the last one, last set for this video this is a cartoon I never really got into. I didn't think it was I didn't really get into it that much. It came out right around the time The Simpsons came out, maybe a little bit after The Simpsons, but before Family Guy. And they've been rolling pretty strong. I know it's a very popular cartoon, but this is called the Boys box set from South Park, Year of the Fan. And I couldn't even tell you all the different characters. I think that's Kenny. He keeps getting killed, right? And Cartman, and I don't really remember. Like I said, I never really got into these guys. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a little bit different because it wasn't very heavy on the horror, but I like to mix it up a little bit sometimes, and I promise the next video will be very horror heavy. And if you guys have any questions or comments, you can always leave those below. Don't forget to check the link for infamous crime locations and check out my buddy Harmon. Go tell him Toddy Walnut sent you. He's got a really good channel. I'd like to see his channel blow up. And he's doing really good stuff out there on his channel. And check out that Bob Crosby song down below if you guys are interested in that, in male crooning. I love that kind of music. So anyway, guys, thank you for Miss Hannah and Miss Heidi. I am Toddy Walnuts, and I am out of here. Later.